So yeah, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I got you guys a video covering a very detailed review of Modern Warfare 2 and what the entire community is kind of talking about right now. And I saw a tweet by Modern Warzone that said, "This is the best beta feedback I've seen for a Call of Duty beta. Chad did a phenomenal job covering every aspect of MW2 while giving genuine feedback without being malicious." And this tweet has so much to take in. So many things said that are what people are talking about, literally. So we're just going to be simply going over each point and talking about it here, shedding some light on it. And I want your guys' feedback with all of it. And if you want to see the original tweet and read everything for yourself, I'll link it down below in the description. But shout out to Chad, definitely, for this whole entire huge, extensive, very in detail feedback for Modern Warfare 2. And I really hope the developers see this, seriously. But if you guys are new around here, it'd mean a lot if you do hit up that subscribe button and like up the video if you do still happen to enjoy for more Modern Warfare 2 beta content. But let's just go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing mentioned here is time to kill. Time to kill is generally regarded as too fast and inconsistent, factoring in loud footstep audio and current implementation of the minimap. Player confidence and match pacing are negatively affected. Players often notice discrepancies in when they appear to the enemy and their kill count versus how they perceive their own visibility in the moment. This is especially noticeable in engagements where a player has just turned a corner or appeared over/around corner. So my take on time to kill is the fact that in previous Infinity Ward Call of Duty, such as the past Modern Warfare games, it's always been a very fast time to kill. We all know how Modern Warfare time to kill was very fast, guns killing you in between 2 to 4 shots, especially the headshot damage. And I feel like the headshot damage in this game is just crazy. Like whenever the enemy gets a lucky headshot on me or just simply aims for the head, you're dead instantly. For me, it's not that much of a problem. I've gotten used to fast time to kill from Infinity Ward, but that's just me. What do you guys think about the time to kill on MW2? So the next thing mentioned here is the minimap. So the minimap not showing unsuppressed fire aims to keep players focused on gameplay rather than the corner of the screen. While being an understandable philosophy, the lack of additional awareness makes players more passive and timid, especially when pursuing streaks. At minimum, making an equivalent to Vanguard's radar perk, a base perk would alleviate some frustrations. Moreover, completely reverting back to the classic minimap would allow all players to traverse with more confidence. Those who wish to stay off the minimap can equip a silencer or ghost. And speaking of which we'll talk about the next point. But on that take with the whole entire minimap, I kind of do miss the original minimap, how whenever you fire your gun, you show up on the minimap. It's same with the enemies. I miss that classic style of Call of Duty, to be honest. But I just think it's just one of those things Infinity Ward is going to leave it as is, because I'm pretty sure that's how they designed this game to be. And same with MW19. And it is what it is, It sucks to have no minimap that works with red dots when people shoot. But I guess we just have to get used to it again for another year. But that's going to be it for the minimap. What do you guys think? Do you want the original minimap back or the one that we have now? So the next point is on the Ghost perk. So Ghost is fairly divisive. Some players like its presence as an ultimate perk, requiring it to be earned versus given, discouraging overly passive play early in a match. Others feel that the perk taking up to 8 minutes to earn allows a team to gain an advantage by arbitrarily calling in UAVs, especially in the early game. The added awareness given by this low-tier streak results in a snowball of UAV spam, thus putting the receiving team at a disadvantage until Ghost comes into play. Consider moving Ghost to the base perk selection or reverting to the traditional perk system. More on that soon. Also consider modifying the perk to only function when players are moving to discourage camping. So with this whole thing, I kind of like how Ghost is actually in one of those ultimate perk slots, because the UAV becomes more useful. It becomes actually a lot better with the awareness of the game, and that kind of alleviates the problem with the minimap not showing red dots when you fire your gun. I've noticed that I can get way better usage of the minimap because the usage of Ghost is kind of non-existent. It's only really there sometimes towards like the end of the middle of the matches. So I kind of rock with this. I don't mind Ghost being one of those perks, but then again, it is kind of annoying, having the UAV be spammed constantly and the enemies know where I'm at 24/7 because I don't have the Ghost perk yet and I can't get it until later in the match. So it's kind of like a win-lose situation, but I don't mind how it is now. The next one is on Dead Silence. This is a very huge one for the community at the moment too. So Dead Silence has traditionally provided an extra layer of concealment for players looking to play aggressively, especially when chasing streaks or playing objective. With footsteps being generally loud, players are able to acquire or hunt at others sprinting in proximity. To prevent audio feedback encouraging overly passive playstyles, consider offering Dead Silence both as a field upgrade and a base perk. Call of Duty was founded on maximizing player choice. Those who want constant protection from being heard can run the Dead Silence perk. Others can benefit from it in short bursts as a field upgrade while freeing up a perk slot. With this whole thing, I just feel like the footsteps should be lowered down just a little bit, because they are for sure very loud, and that can cause people to camp because simply you don't want to be heard. Players don't want to be heard just rushing across the map, and especially going behind, you know, doorways or whatever it is, and someone's just camping around the corner just waiting for you because they can hear your loud King Kong footsteps, you know. So definitely lower the footstep audio just by a little bit. And as for Dead Silence, honestly, it doesn't bother me that it's a foot upgrade. I got used to it with Modern Warfare, and for those of you that did play Modern Warfare, maybe you got used to it just like me, or maybe you still dislike how it is the fit upgrade. But if we can manage, and we can play Modern Warfare 2019 without Dead Silence being a perk and deal with it in Search and Destroy, then I'm sure we can deal with it again, even though it kind of would be annoying. It is what it is. The next point is about the new perk system. So the new perk system is an interesting evolution of the classic pick 3 system. While allowing for players to equip 4 perks, 2 of them are acquired over the course of a match. This requires more powerful awareness / concealment perks such as Ghost and High Alert to be earned rather than given, along with adding another of progression on a per match basis. While some people such as myself like the new system, vastly more on this thread and social media are opposed to it. Reverting to the traditional perk system may be the safer option to appeal to the broader player base. So I kind of agree with him how I do like it. I do like the system a lot because it brings something new to the game that definitely does set this Call of Duty apart from other Call of Duties, you know what I mean? And that's the thing with the new games, new Call of Duty games. People just sometimes complain, especially with this game, oh, what's the difference between MW19 and MW2? Oh, MW2 is just a copy and paste of Modern Warfare 2019. Little things like the new perk system make a big difference in a differential way to both Call of Duty games, and that's why I like some of the new things about this game, since it's something new compared to the previous Modern Warfare game. The next bullet point is player visibility. So player visibility could be improved by reducing effects including visual recoil, muzzle flash, and smoke. Current iterations of the aspects listed above greatly restrict visibility in combat, especially at range. Toning back these effects will help ensure gunfights are fair and consistent across all lighting conditions and environments. Bringing back traditional red nameplates would also help to distinguish between enemies and teammates. So that last point was so true. Definitely bringing back enemy nameplates, or at least a red dot above the enemy, would help so much, because not gonna lie, I've gotten so confused on who's a teammate sometimes, and it was so hard to see enemies across the map or just at a long distance because they didn't have a red nameplate at all, and they butted into the map very easily. Moving forward, this next one is pretty much just saying that the sprint out times are kind of slow and player mobility feels slow, and people have been complaining about the game feeling quote-unquote clunky. So with this, I personally really haven't ran into this issue all too much, only sometimes with specific guns such as like the Icarus and some of the other LMGs. Yeah, I can kind of see it, but I've gotten so kind of used to the game in the point of playing slower and not sprinting around corners as much. But I don't find this to be much of a problem for me personally, but I can kind of see why it could be. So if they make the sprint out times a bit faster, the sprint to fire speeds a bit faster, I wouldn't mind it, because it would help out the game's pacing a little bit. The next bullet point is pretty huge in my opinion. So it says reload canceling is a traditional habit for many players. Out of an abundance of caution, many have been conditioned to reload after expending only a small portion of their mag. The updated reload mechanic does have its moments. Accidentally sprinting during a reload with a low/empty mag no longer commits players to repeating an entire reload animation. For the sake of consistency and choice, an option to toggle between a traditional and active reloading would be appreciated to restore players' choice to to reload cancel or pick up where they left off. So I've gotten killed many times because of this new mechanic. It just really throws me off sometimes because it's a habit to reload cancel in just about every Call of Duty, and the fact that this game took it out for whatever odd unknown reason just is something I gotta get used to. I guess this is one of those things. I really want them to take off this new feature, to be honest. The next one just kind of goes over disbanding lobbies after every game you play, how it's just pretty much very bad for the social ecosystem and experience of kind of, you know, encouraging players for new social connections and whatnot, and player banter for, like, you know, videos or just social interaction, you know what I mean? So I kind of agree with this, how it just kills kind of the community vibe of Call of Duty or the social aspect. I don't know why they just have to remove this from Call of Duty. It's a core thing. They probably have it disbanding every lobby because it's part of the skill-based matchmaking, but I've always hated this since they implemented it in Modern Warfare. So they need to stop with this so we can be in the same lobby and with the same people for a few matches on end, because sometimes that was what COD was about back then, and it was so fun playing the same matches with the same people over and over again. So combat pacing was a generally favorable system introduced in Vanguard, allowing players to choose the scale and pace at which they engage in various modes, offering 10v10, 12v12, and other configurations via a toggle and quick play menu would allow players to experience the match pacing they desire, especially on the larger maps. So yeah, this is kind of one of those things where it's just personal preference at the end of the day, and honestly I like this a lot from Vanguard, and I feel like the game would be a lot nicer and feel a lot better choosing the different combat pacings between like 12v12, 6v6, or whatever it is. So I feel like this should definitely come back from Vanguard. So moving forward, this next one is very huge. It's just about slide canceling, and people are very vocal about this one on Twitter for sure. You know, people are either calling this slide canceling an exploit like back in Modern Warfare, or how it was a skill gap to, you know, if you knew how to slide cancel, that's on you. You know how to do better than the other player. It was part of the game, part of the movement, and how the game should be played. And there's a lot of takes on slide canceling, and my take on it is the fact that with the older CODs that kind of had the sliding, it wasn't much of a problem, was it? Like in Ghosts or Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, I don't think there was like necessarily a huge discussion about canceling your slide, and we just dealt with it. We just dealt with whatever it was with the sliding in the older CODs, and with the games that didn't have sliding like MW3, MW2, Black Ops 1, we were fine without it. We played the game as it was, and if it's not in the game now, then I guess we have to play it like how the older Call of Duties were. That's just the way I see it personally. And I don't really care if slide canceling is a thing or if it's or if it is a thing. It would be nice though, you know, to have it. It makes, you know, this game different than MW19. I loved the movement in Modern Warfare 2019, but it's just part of this game now. The next bullet point mentions deaths on the scoreboard, and this is a thing that has been removed in the previous Call of Duty games. I can understand why they removed this and only showed your deaths at the end of the game, but I feel like it's just a nice thing knowing what your score is in general. Like, it's nice to know how many kills you have and how many deaths you have. If they, you know, can remove deaths from the scoreboard, then why keep kills? Like, it goes hand in hand together, knowing how many kills and how many deaths you do have, in my opinion at least. It's just one of those things that I've gotten like accustomed to since Modern Warfare. Like, okay, whatever, I can't see my deaths, I don't care how many times I die. It's just one of those things that I feel like it would be nicer to have, but I can get why they removed it, I guess. And lastly, user interface is a crucial component to accessibility and general player experience. While the What's Hot playlist overlay is accompanied by impressive mode-specific render images, many players feel it hinders accessibility to the standard matchmaking menu. Consider making it accessible via button press like MW, Cold War, Vanguard, a message of the day, and patch notes, and landing players at the matchmaking menu from the start. I kind of agree with this a lot. The UI is very difficult to get used to. There's so many sub menus within a menu, or sub menus within a sub menu, which just makes me think, what's the kind of point of having this when in older CODs you did it way better with the user interface. You made it so simplistic. Yeah, with this game, it's just like subfolders and menus. It's just so kind of weird to get used to, and it reminds me of how the Call of Duty World War II UI was. It was so trash too. I really hope I'm not the only person that thinks the user interface is sometimes confusing to get around. But that's gonna be the entire video actually. Pretty much all the points with the good reasoning behind all of them. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think about all of this? This is definitely the most detailed thing that I've ever seen so far about this game, and it's very relatable to me. It's very relatable, and I think that this guy did a very, very good job. Shout out to Chad once more again. I'll leave the tweet down below in the description, but that's going to be pretty much the whole entire video, guys. If you made it to the end of the video, comment down below Kermit the Frog. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
I just checked my balance, got a big ass amount. 6 figures on my wrist, 12 carried in my mouth. These bitches, they in love with the money that I count. Like begging for a ticket, they say put it